A team at Consumer Reports went out this year and priced the same basket of everyday food at supermarkets in 6 different cities, and when they lined every chain up against Walmart, Aldi came in just over 8% cheaper. On a $600 a month grocery budget, that is about $50 back in your pocket every month. $600 a year for driving to a different parking lot. Now, the part that stops me from just sending you off to shop there, in that very same study, 2 warehouse clubs beat Aldi by more than 20%, and Lidl, the other German chain, edged it out too. Aldi is cheap. Aldi is not automatically the cheapest, and unlike almost every store I have walked you through on this channel, there is no senior discount waiting for you at that register. There never has been one. They do not take manufacturer cons, they do not run a loyalty card, and they do not give rain checks. Every dollar you save in that store, you save by knowing which shelf genuinely beats the brand name, and which shelf is quietly taking you for a ride, and this is exactly what I will be talking about today. I am over 60, I am on the same fixed income you are, and I push a cart through that store myself. So I priced this out before I opened my mouth, and I am going to finish on the one Aldi habit that is costing seniors more than everything else on this list combined, and it hits hardest if driving has gotten difficult for you. One quick thing before we start. All of this, and a great deal more that will never fit in a video, is written down properly in a book, and I will tell you where at the end. For now, if the next few minutes save you money, hit the like button. It costs you nothing, and it is how these find the people who need them. Get a pen. By the end, you will know which aisles in that store are working for you, which ones are working on you, and the little habits at the register that decide how much of that $600 you actually keep. So let us start with number 1, the 2 things in that store that beat almost every supermarket in America, and they are sitting right by the door. Eggs and milk. Aldi sells its eggs under the Gold Hen label, and its milk and butter under Friendly Farms, and on a plain dozen large eggs and a gallon of milk, Aldi is very hard to beat, because those are the 2 items every discount chain uses to prove it is cheap. Here is the catch, and you need it. Egg prices swing with supply, sometimes week to week, so the gap between Aldi and your regular store is not a fixed thing you can trust forever. Look at the shelf tag, not at the reputation, and watch which tier you are grabbing, because pasture-raised and organic sit right next to the plain dozen, and they are a different price entirely. That one is easy. The next one, people get wrong every single week without noticing. Number 2 is cheese, and specifically cheese in a block. Aldi runs Happy Farms for everyday cheese and Emporium Selection for the fancier ones, and both are genuinely cheaper per ounce than the national brands. But this is where the mistake creeps in. Shredded cheese in a bag almost always costs more per ounce than the same cheese in a block, at Aldi and everywhere else, because you are paying for somebody to shred it and for the powder they add so it does not clump. Buy the block, grate what you need. If your hands are not what they used to be, a rotary grater with a crank handle costs a few dollars and pays for itself in a month. Speaking of paying for itself, the next aisle is where Aldi quietly wins the whole grocery war. That brings me to number 3, the dry pantry. Pasta, rice, canned beans, canned tomatoes, sugar, flour, the things that sit in your cupboard and do not spoil. This is where the store brand model does its real work, because there is no marketing budget baked into a bag of rice, and Aldi is stocking nearly nothing but its own label in there. But I promised you the truth, so here is the catch on this one. A price comparison just this month put 15 store brand staples head-to-head across 4 chains, and Kroger came out cheapest overall, beating Aldi on canned diced tomatoes, on spaghetti, and on sugar. So the pantry aisle at Aldi is very good. It is not untouchable. If you have a Kroger family store nearby with a loyalty card, Price a few of your regulars both ways before you decide. And there is one pantry item I am going to tell you to walk right past later on, because the shelf price fools almost everybody. Number 4 is bread and the sturdy produce. And I want to be precise about the word sturdy. Bagged onions, bagged potatoes, carrots, apples, cabbage, squash, the things that hold. Aldi prices those well, and they are a big part of why the basket total comes in low. The catch is shelf life. Plenty of long-time shoppers will tell you Aldi bread goes stale faster than what they are used to, and produce there tends to be closer to its date on the day you buy it, because a lean store turns stock fast. So buy what you will genuinely eat this week, not what looks like a bargain for 2 weeks. Which brings me to the single biggest saving in that whole store, and it is only there for about 2 hours a day. Number 5 is meat, but only with a sticker on it. Aldi marks down meat, seafood, and bakery items as they get close to their sell-by date. And at a lot of stores, those markdowns go on in the morning, sometimes at half off. That is real money on the most expensive thing in your cart. Go early. Look for the reduced tags before you shop anything else, and build the week around what you find rather than the other way round. 2 catches, and both matter. There are no rain checks at Aldi, so a markdown you saw yesterday means nothing today, and plenty of shoppers do complain about the texture of the plain prepackaged chicken breast, so if that has been your experience, buy the markdown beef and pork and let the chicken go. Now, the aisle everybody films for social media, and where the savings are real, but the promise is not. Number 6 is the snack and chocolate aisle, and I am going to give you both halves of this. Aldi's Clancy's chips and its Moser Roth chocolate are dramatically cheaper than the brands they sit beside, and the chocolate in particular has a following that is not manufactured. But the catch is the part the haul videos skip. When Kiplinger put Aldi's kettle chips up against the national brand they are clearly modeled on, they found the packaging copied the original far better than the chips did. So the money you save is real. The promise that it tastes exactly the same is not always. Try 1 bag before you buy 6. And that leads straight into number 7, which is the reason trying 1 bag costs you nothing at all. Number 7 is not a product, it is a policy, and it is the most underused thing in that entire store. It is called the twice as nice guarantee. If you are not satisfied with any Aldi exclusive food item, they will replace it and refund your money. Not one or the other, both. You bring the packaging and whatever is left of the product back to the store manager with your receipt. That means every store brand item in this video can be tested at 0 risk, which is exactly how you find out which swaps your household will actually eat. The catch is the fine print, and it is a real one. That double guarantee does not cover alcohol, it does not cover national brands, and it does not cover the non-food items in the fines aisle, which is going to matter enormously in a few minutes. So that is the grab list. Now let me tell you where that store quietly stops being cheap. Which brings me to number 8, and it is the biggest one on the skip list. The national brands sitting on Aldi shelves. You will see them in there. A familiar mayonnaise, a familiar peanut butter, a familiar soda, a couple of cereal boxes. And your instinct, after a lifetime of shopping, is that a brand name in a discount store must be a deal. It usually is not. Aldi prices those close to ordinary, and then 2 things you cannot do anywhere else in that building bite you. You cannot use a manufacturer coupon on them, and you will not catch them in a deep sale cycle, because Aldi does not run one. Cereal is the worst offender of the bunch, because Aldi's own cereal lineup is thin, so the brand boxes just sit there at full freight. The catch on my own advice, so you know I am not being silly about it, is that if buying it there saves you a second trip across town in the rain, that is worth something too. You decide. But the next skip is one where there is no argument at all. Now, number 9 is the personal care rack, and I mean toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, and the shaving things. Look closely at that rack next time, and you will notice something. It is almost all national brands. Aldi has never built out a deep store brand line there the way it has with food. And those particular products are the exact products that go on genuine deep sale at drugstores and supermarkets on a rolling cycle, often with a coupon stacked on top. So buying them at Aldi means paying an ordinary price on the one category where a patient shopper can pay half. Put them on a separate list and buy them where the sales are. The catch, and I will say it because it is true, is that if you are managing on one trip a week and one tank of gas, chasing a toothpaste sale across 3 stores is not a saving, it is a hobby. Weigh it honestly. But this next one is money you lose without ever seeing a price tag. Number 10 is the delicate produce, the berries and the salad greens and the soft fruit. Aldi prices them low, and the complaint you will hear from shoppers over and over is that they turn faster than the ones from a full-service supermarket. And here is the arithmetic that nobody does at the register. A container of berries that costs $1 less and gets thrown out on Thursday cost you the whole price, not the dollar you saved. Waste is the most expensive thing in any grocery budget on a fixed income. The catch is that this varies enormously store to store, depending on how fast your local one turns over. So test your own store with one container before you trust it with your fruit money. And the next one is the trap I mentioned earlier, the pantry item where the shelf price is lying to you. Number 11 is the smaller package, and flour is the example that catches the most people. At one point, when it was priced side by side, Aldi's own all-purpose flour worked out to about 36 cents a pound, while Walmart's store brand came in around 28 cents a pound, because the Walmart bag was bigger. 2 bags, 2 shelf prices, and the cheaper-looking one costs you more for the same flour. Now, prices move, and that particular comparison is a snapshot, not a law, which is exactly the point I want you to take home. In a store with no coupons and no loyalty card, the unit price on the shelf tag, the price per ounce or per pound, is the only tool you have got, and it is the one thing that never lies to you. Find it on the tag and compare that, never the big number. All right, that is what to grab and what to put back. Now let us talk about the 4 habits at that store that cost seniors real money every single week, starting with the one everybody laughs about. Number 12 is the quarter, and it is not the quarter itself. It is a genuine deposit. You get it back every time, and it exists so the store does not have to pay somebody to round up carts, which is one of the reasons the prices are low. Fine. The cost is what happens when you forget it. Some people drive home. Some people try to carry an armful and buy less than they came for, then make a second trip later. Both of those cost more than a quarter, so keep one taped in the car and know the 2 things most shoppers do not. If you forget, ask a cashier, because many stores keep change on hand for exactly this. And watch this one at the register, because it catches people constantly. The staff often swap your cart for a different one while they are ringing you up, so make sure you take your quarter out before you leave, or you have just donated it. Small money, but it is your money. The next habit costs a good deal more. Number 13 is the bags, and this one is a habit you have to unlearn. Aldi does not give you free bags. That is deliberate. It is part of why the shelf prices are what they are, and you can buy bags at the register. But buying one every trip, week after week, is a slow leak that adds up to real money over a year for something you already own a drawer full of at home. 2 things instead. Bring your own, and keep spares in the trunk, so a forgotten bag never turns into a bought bag. And use the empty cardboard boxes, because the store stocks in shipping boxes and usually leaves empties out for exactly this. The catch is that Aldi expects you to load loose into your cart at the register and bag at the shelf behind the lanes, and that pace surprises people the first time. It is nothing to be flustered by. Take your cart to the shelf and pack at your own speed, and let the line move on without you. And I will mention here that a lot of stores have pulled their self-checkout machines out over the past year, so if yours has fewer lanes than it used to, that is why. Now the habit that costs the most, because it is not a habit you can see. Number 14 is the couponing instinct, and I say this with real respect for it. If you are over 60, you were very likely raised to clip, to watch the circular, to wait for the sale and stock up. That instinct has saved your household thousands of dollars over a lifetime. At Aldi it does nothing, because there are no manufacturer coupons, no loyalty card, and no rain checks. But that instinct still has somewhere to go in that store, and this is what it should be pointed at. The weekly ad drops on Wednesday and runs through Tuesday, and there is an ad preview you can see a day or two early on their app or website. On the shelf tags, the ones marked Aldi Savers are the flagged discounts, and there is a price drop section that gets updated regularly. Stack those three habits. Shop on a Wednesday or Thursday morning when stock is fullest. Check the ad preview before you make the list, and look for the reduced stickers first. That is your circular. The catch is the rain check rule again, so if you see something in the ad you want, it goes in the cart that trip, which is the perfect introduction to the aisle in the middle of that store that has taken more money out of more pockets than any other. Number 15 is the fines aisle, the middle aisle, the one people jokingly call the aisle of shame. New items land every Wednesday. They are ordered months ahead, and when they are gone, they are gone. No restock, no rain check, no ordering one in. And that is the design. That aisle is built to make you buy right now, and the pressure is not imaginary, it is engineered, and it works on all of us. I have carried things home from it myself that I did not need. So here is how you take the pressure off. Walk it last, after your food is in the cart, so you are choosing with a real total in your head. And remember this one, because it is the piece almost nobody knows. The twice as nice guarantee, that wonderful double refund I gave you at number 7, does not cover the non-food items in that aisle. So a kitchen gadget or a garden thing from the middle aisle is an ordinary purchase with ordinary returns, not a risk-free one. Enjoy that aisle. Just do not shop it like the guarantee has your back, because on those items, it does not. And now, the one I have been holding back, and the one I most want you to hear. And finally, number 16. If you have your groceries delivered from Aldi, or you use curbside pickup, you are paying substantially more than the shelf price, and almost nothing tells you so. Aldi runs that service through a third party, and the prices in that app are marked up above what the same items cost inside the store. Shoppers who have sat down and compared their app receipt against the shelf, item by item, have come out around 12% higher on the groceries alone, before you add the delivery fee, before the service fee, and before the tip. Add all of it together, and analysts put a typical delivered order somewhere around 40% above shopping in person. Think about what that does. You chose Aldi to save 8%. Then you handed back 12, and then some. Now, I want to be very careful here, because for some of you that service is not a luxury. It is the difference between eating well and not. If you cannot drive, or you cannot manage a cart, or it is icy out, that fee is buying you your independence, and it is worth every penny. I am not here to take that away from anybody. I only want you to know the number, because knowing it changes what you do with it. 3 things. If you can get to the store yourself even once a month, Do the big shelf-stable haul in person, the rice and the pasta and the canned goods and the paper, and let the delivery be the small, fresh top-up. Second, look at whether ordering pickup through Aldi's own app is cheaper than ordering delivery through the third-party one, because it often is. And third, if there is a neighbor or someone at your church already making that trip, this is a very easy thing to ask for, and most people are glad to be asked. Splitting one trip 2 ways is the biggest single grocery saving in this entire video, and it does not cost anybody a thing. So there it is. 7 things in that store worth putting in your cart, 4 that are quietly not the bargain they look like, and the handful of habits at the register that decide which of those $600 a year you actually get to keep. If you take one thing away, make it the unit price on the shelf tag. In a store with no coupons, no card, and no rain checks, that little number in the corner is the only honest thing in the aisle, and it works in every store you will ever walk into. Everything I just gave you started as a note in a folder. Over the last year, that folder turned into a book, and my grandson sat with me for a lot of evenings getting it into shape, because I can find a state statute, but I cannot build a website to save my life. It is called the Senior Savings Handbook. Large print, because our eyes are what they are. It goes through this pricing business properly, and a great deal more that I could never fit into a video, and it is under $20, one time. The link is in the description, or you can find it on the site. And I will say the quiet part plainly, because you have earned that from me. When somebody picks that up, it is what lets me keep making these instead of doing something else with my afternoons. Do me one favor before you go. Send this to somebody who shops that store, because the delivery number at the end is the one that catches good people who are just doing their best. Now tell me down in the comments, what is the one thing you always put in your cart at that store, and what is the one you learned the hard way to leave on the shelf? I read every one of them, and the good ones end up in the next video.